Welcome back, lazy gamers. Welcome back to ARA History Untold. So we are going to try a version 2 game as Alexander here. And I know that there are a couple of bugs that we found in the last test run that we did. But I'm going to try and see if I can play a game in spite of that and see how deep we can get into Act 1. My motivation for playing a deep game here is to kind of get a sense of how the adaptive AI really plays out. This game is at Grand Duke difficulty, and I'm fully expecting that somewhere in the Act 2 ballpark is when we start eclipsing our the AI as far as prestige is concerned. But I'm very curious to see how adaptive the adaptive AI is. Another thing I've noticed, and this is definitely what I'm leaning more into, get as many scouts as I can before I end up getting settlers, and I think I'll need to get a good chunk of settlers very early here. The aim is to lean into Alexander's main ability here, which is we want to try and get to our city cap as soon as possible and do whatever it takes to try and stay at that level. So that's a pretty decent grain heavy zone, so we'll definitely plan a granary and grain stores. Okay, we see the borders of a neighbor here. Yeah, I was hoping to have a more of an isolated start. This is, I don't want to lean into war. I mean, if I can avoid it, I will try not to lean into war at all. But let's see, maybe we do need a force. But before we build any kind of force, I think we need to get our settlers out and get our city cap maxed out. As big a deal I've made about settling locations, I think I have to be as Greece as Alexander. I think I'm going to be less particular about what tiles I settle. I think getting the settlement down is far more important than the exact quality of the tiles you settle. Whoever this neighbor is, it does look like Belgium or China, I think. I hope we have enough land at least for 7-8 cities that we can plonk down, because that means that should allow us to stay at city cap just by natural expanse and not lean into war. Because if I do lean into war, and in all likelihood we will lean into war at some point, but I'd rather not have that happen earlier in Act 1. I would love to defer that to as later in the game as possible. Okay, I think that pigs are fine. This is good. I mean, a start where you get grain and granaries and grain stores, along with animal resources and a butcher shop that can be supplied with the said animal resource. Can't ask for any better than that. I think a combination of those two things actually works out very, very well. I mean, we will pretty much be guaranteeing the amenities we need for growth. I think that settlement spot is fine. Let's not think too much about it. Archery is actually very important here. Just by the nature of how the city cap mechanic works for Alexander, I think I'm not going to leave any text behind here. I'm trying to try and make sure I kind of get all the text, because the longer I delay getting to bronze working, the longer I can delay my city cap going up, which means I have longer to stay at my maxed out city caps here. And the cool thing is, the capital gets the plus 50 city stats, but the other cities, the expands, get a production bump, which actually is very, very useful. And to be honest, I'm glad I'm not forced to build a military here. So ordinarily, by this time in previous games, I would be totally okay having a couple of spearmen roaming around. Because one of the things that used to happen is I would use those spearmen to clear the barb, like predators, and just in case there is a clan that you run into which is hostile to you, you're almost forced to get a spearman or two. But in this patch in V2, when you do predator kills with the spearman, you don't get any rewards, which is actually very not too thrilled with that change. I loved the idea of getting the predator kills, because now we pretty much if I'm clearing predators and gaining rewards from it, I can only do it with scouts. Lots of animals in this city. Marathon has a lot of animal nodes, and I think I can totally lean more into butcher shops and an industry stack centered around butcher shops. Maybe even go to bakeries eventually because we have the grain too. I think like hospitality would be a very natural thing to lean into as the game moves forward. And this city has a stone pit, so I think normally I avoid doing heavy industrial stuff in the city center because typically I like to leave at least one or two tiles open for a dwelling. But I think it's fine. I think I've kind of been hard locked into certain things that I end up doing into certain play styles, and I want to kind of get out of that comfort zone. Really, let's try something different and see if it has a different outcome. But our ceramic shops will have a disadvantage here. We don't have sculpting materials. So interestingly, I was reading the dev diaries and there was a question about like renaming sculpting materials. Or when this game initially launched, right, we had rice and we had grain, and we had a different supply chain for them, and essentially all of it became grain. I think it's totally okay with a thing called sculpting materials, because at the end of the day, we are talking about clay and bricks, and like you use clay to make bricks, and bricks are can be used as building materials. Quarry marble, can quarry stone, granite, different kinds of stones, and the stone can be used as that. But then typically if you have clay, then pottery leans directly into it. Clay becomes something you use to make pots. But then interestingly, like, okay, if you're making pots from clay, then you pretty much need to have knowledge of the wheel, which kind of feels backwards here. I'm pretty sure in this game, even in Civ 6 for the matter, the wheel unlocks quite late. If you're crafting pots from clay, yeah, can't see it how you would do it without a wheel. I mean, I guess you could, but it'll look like shit. Okay, so it is China. Wu Zetian. Try and stay as friendly with her as I can, but I'm definitely denying her things that I would need. So yeah, let's see. There will be events that raise favor with her, and I just won't need to be careful what I accept and what I don't. So okay, this is interesting. An expert in the Great Hearth seems to be the best thing to do in this version. That's quite strong actually. Yeah. We need more settlers. Daizao seems to have a growth event, and I want to grow closer to the Chinese border and may potentially block them out of claiming tiles around me. The AI does seem to have this very weird propensity to creep into land or creep closer to your cities. And the most annoying thing is when it takes like a region that is right adjacent, like one tile away from my city center. I mean, as long as it didn't do that specific thing, I'd totally be happy or okay with how the AI is growing out its tiles, but it's just triggering. I mean, it's one of those things that when it happens to you, it's like I get an instant jolt of like rage that makes me want to go to war. So if I can avoid that, if I can just grow two tiles that get the close by tiles first towards the other empire in my control, I think I'll be okay. Right, we noticed that the workshops now can manufacture candles, but the candles do need tallow and incense and some other stuff which we don't have. So if we end up getting those resources, we will definitely get them. But I think the near-term supply chain is pretty much oriented towards food, for the amenities that is. So we have the free tech, and yeah, I'm just going to pick this one. That's fine. But I think the more games we play, we need to understand the pros and cons of each of those choices. So this specific land does not have any horses, so I'm in no hurry. I think we should get the tech that lets us build chariots and other stuff, but I don't think that's a tech that I'll leave behind. We can wait until later to get it. It's no urgency here. It does look like we have a good amount of land. At least like the initial settlement. Yep. The cool thing with these influence related benefits that you can get is you don't have to claim them if you get the first bunch at 50. influence. You don't have to claim it that turn. If you wait a few turns or maybe wait a turn or more, those things will shuffle and those benefits will keep changing. I mean, the plan here should be, if you don't like the benefits that are being offered to you, or if you are explicitly waiting for a specific benefit that's going to be right for your game, I think, yeah, waiting is an option. You're not forced to pick something immediately. Alexander does have the discipline trait, which will give all his cities +5 culture as long as they have military improvements. So normally I would like put military improvements, I think, along with science buildings, and blacksmiths pair very well with them. In this case, I think no. I think I'm not gonna worry too much about adjacency specifically, and I think Delphi can pretty much start building a military. We have our first bakery up, and okay, dwelling right next to the bakery would make a lot of sense. In fact, if I get a trading post and a mint, I'm going to put that in that zone. Okay, let's get some wheels here. We have the leather and we have the materials, so let's do it. Yeah, something about, maybe it's just me, I don't understand some things, but very often I notice that when I think I'm producing something in my workshops, I'm actually not producing them. Just need to make sure. Like every once in a while I realize that until I set the production limit to like infinite, I'm not seeing things built out, or at least like as fast as I would want them. I don't know. I think I'm going to chalk that to something that we have, some mechanic that we haven't quite understood well. We haven't unlocked any other commerce buildings outside of dwellings. So Taizao can do something else. I think, yeah, the watchtower would be fine. Now we have fiscal accountability, health capital. Yeah, let's pick that. It's fine. And I'm pretty sure that the scaling needs for this influence expense will keep going up. So it's going to be a while before the next chance to pick anything comes, I guess. But I mean, Alexander is uniquely poised to actually generate a lot of culture very early. I'm expecting that whatever benefits the culture mechanic gives us, it actually kicks in much earlier than usual. It actually kicks in much earlier for Alexander than other leaders. And yeah, I mean, Athens' quality of life stats are looking fantastic right now. And you have a full queue of things to do also, so it's fine. When you raise the quality of life stats to a very high number, things just get easier to do. Your production benefits are maxed out, your health benefit, all your benefits are maxed out, and things are not quite slower. In fact, it's a great way to get wonders fast too. Yes, we will be building wonders hopefully this game. But the challenge with building wonders is going to be, I don't know. If the wonders are improving quality of life stats, the capital does not need them because the capital is naturally buffed. So I think the satellite cities are the ones that are going to use or get these wonders. So the production buff that the other cities get from being at city cap max is going to be pretty useful. Although I got to be careful about planning something like Nemrud Dog, because Nemrud Dog will mess things a little bit. It'll increase my city cap. So unless I have settlers, I'm thinking out loud here, but I think at any given point in time, if a surprise happens, just have like a settler, an extra settler waiting to settle somewhere. Have one ready all the time, and I think that's kind of a strategy is going to ensure that you are maxing out your city cap benefits. Alternatively, on lower difficulties, you could just go into war or stay at war and decide. And the choice whether you want to keep a city or raise a city simply depends on whether you're at city cap or not. So looks like China is happy with us. Let's see if she can. Let's see, what can we trade with her? The stuff that we would want from her, actually, it's constructed too slow by her. So I don't mind augmenting things that we already have. Maybe, yeah, cattle and grain would be fine. Alright, we are at weaving, and I think I'm going to lean into Code of Laws, because I don't know if I need the Code of Laws amenity specifically, because I have other amenities that can slot. I'm more interested in monarchy than theocracy when I switch my governments. simply because the palace, which we will be building very shortly, is going to be important. So the palace is going to raise my city cap, and the government switch is also going to raise my city cap, and the government switch can happen soon. So if I have a settler going right now, or ready to settle, I will have switching to monarchy would probably be okay. But the moment I have my palace town, I will need to have another settler ready. I think more settler strategy is perfectly acceptable when you... Oh, come on. Why did you do this, Wu Zetian? She settled like... I mean, it's not a bad settle from our point of view. We can kind of go out to the edge and settle, but it's fine. I wanted that spot, but it's okay. We'll settle to the left of Chongqing, and then we will settle something towards like the south. Alright, someone's entered the Iron Age, and we are not too far behind, and we are actually taking our time with the techs. So yeah, I don't think science is going to be a big problem. I think so we are playing at Grand Duke, and I think this is far easier to play or manage, and especially with Alexander's ability. I mean, even Emperor would be pretty decent to play if you can manage the city cap buff. But yeah, if you play like the highest difficulty game, I don't know. I think this might be a little more challenging. Alright, I'm looking at the national economy screen, and a bunch of things are idle, and I don't know why. And I've set things to... Okay, somehow when I set a number on like the things to make, they are not being honored appropriately. And the only way I can seem to make this work is if I make them infinite, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, I've not been making baskets all this while. I think... Wait, no. So I had set the number to 5 baskets when I started off, and I think it made those 5 baskets for me. But pretty much that the workshop stayed idle without any turn blocking notification. Oh, good God. Okay. So that's what happened. So after the 5 baskets were constructed or crafted, the workshop just went idle because there was nothing else to do. Okay, I got to figure out how to not have that happen. I don't know how many turns of crafting. Yeah, I have lost out on a lot of turns of crafting, a lot of different things. That's fine. I mean, there's only one way to learn. Make mistakes. Let's get a few archers in the city now. And I do have a good chunk of butcher shops, don't I? Right. One of the things that annoys me through the game is it's hard to keep track of if you have any trade agreements with your neighbors, and if let's say you're sending 2 merchants and getting stuff, if the AI sieve runs out of something or the stuff that you're trading for, I mean, there is no easy way to get that notification early. Or I'm sure the notification pops up, but it's not something that I consciously end up looking for. So yeah, a bunch of turns may elapse until I remember to check that trade deal, and yep, until then I lose out on stuff. Yeah, I just realized that I'm not exactly pointing north-south here. And I don't remember at what point in the game I changed the orientation, but it looks like I've been sort of lopsided. I wish so. The home button essentially is what centers your map north-south. In addition to that, it also puts the focus of the city. Yeah, it puts the focus on the capital and aligns you north-south. I think that function should simply align you north-south. I don't care for the focus in the capital. Sometimes I'm like far away, my focus is far away, and I've kind of turned myself all around. And all I need is a north-south view from the point where I am at, not shoot me back to the capital to give me that view. It's a small thing, but, or at least give me the ability to like have both options, right? Like align north-south in place and zoom into capital. Or maybe, yeah, split that into 2 separate functions. That would be okay too. I do realize that my force deployment number is at 9 and I have nothing deployed. And I mean, right now I can put out like 3 unit formations. In very short time, I will be able to put out like 4 unit formations. So like, just think of it. If I have a capacity for 9, and even if I want like 6 of them, 6 times 4 is 24. I need 24 different units running around, or at least in my queue somewhere. I'm like not even at half that value, not even a third of that value right now. All I have is like a couple of hoplites and some archers on the way. It's very easy to let the military go sideways. I think at any given point in time, one city should be dedicated just to build units. I don't know, it's going to be harder though, at harder difficulties. I think it will be fine here. I think China is not, I don't think China sees us as a threat right now. And even though, yeah, I don't want to dare think about war at this point. Definitely not with like just a handful of units. If the city cap, if the force cap is at like, let's say 8, the AI typically has at least half that, if not more. And on higher difficulties, generally their science is better, so they will have better units. And we lack horses, we lack any kind of cavalry here, so that's going to be a big handicap if I want to think about war. I want to total on from this point here. Yeah, we have the land here that will allow us to keep our city cap buff going, but let's see. It's early days as far as this game is concerned. Alright, so we're at irrigation. Looks like the city cap extension at coinage is gone. But I think I'll pick coinage here because I do want some more commerce buildings to plug into my bakery or to plug into the same region as my bakery. Yes, some of the commerce improvements, the trading posts and such do give you a good ability to build some backup amenities. But I think our amenities stack is fine. We do, I mean, at the bare minimum, along with our feasts and grain stores and butcher shops or cured meats that we are making a lot of, we are making some jewels, some code of laws. Yeah, we have a decent stack of, I'm not too worried about my amenities. So far, like the industry stack that we have chosen here is quite diversified and I think we'll be fine. However, one point I do want to make is as soon as I have the ability to build blacksmiths and siegecraft, I think I want to definitely have some handy. But really, I should be looking to see where my nearest horses are. Actually, yeah, that city, yeah, the Delphi, right? That reached the clan that is near Delphi. It is sitting on a horse. And I think I need to, well, I think I'll get events soon enough that will help that clan join my city. But after that, I need to prioritize growing to that region and making sure I get my horses online or get those horses online. And I think that becomes a priority thing. Although worst case, I mean, I can probably go ahead and kill that camp though. That is also a choice. So my future cities, I think one city will wrap around Chongqing and kind of jut out into the peninsula. Another one, I will send it to the other side of the Chinese lands. And possibly any other future ones will be in the tundra. And yeah, even the land beyond Delphi or Delphoi, I do think I can plonk a few more cities down there too. So yeah, so I mean, if I'm able to switch governments, that is going to increase my city cap. I think I will lean into it. Or rather, in the perfect world, I would love to keep my settlers just ready to settle. Okay, so Nemrut Dark, Stonehenge, Great Pyramids, and Hanging Gardens are all available, and I should try to get at least maybe one or two of these. Let's see, it might need a little bit of planning, but I think I can make it happen. Do I want to build a flower field? I think I need to. If I'm trying to get Hanging Gardens, I will need a flower field. So let's do it. And I think my production is getting a little challenged here. Or not production, my material count is getting challenged. In fact, my material count and my timber count is pretty bad. I think I'll need a lot more stone pits and logging camps all over the place. I don't think I can avoid it. I think I need to. So usually, like as far as logging camps are concerned, stone pits are concerned, I like having like a single region just dedicated to them. But I don't think I have enough land here, and if I'm planning to build wonders, I will need to set aside land to do that. So yeah, so I think I just need to be opportunistic about this and put down logging camps and stone pits whenever I get the chance, wherever I see an opportunity. All right, you are in place, and I will settle you as soon as I get my palace up. Might be a while though. Delphi has some really good regions with the yields on the regions are actually pretty fantastic. But all of them are like 2 and 3 zone regions. Some are 4 zone regions, but the good ones are like 2 and 3 zones. So yeah, so this it's a different challenge. I haven't really thought about how to manage a situation like that, because generally speaking, I like. So this is a good thought, right? Or a good experiment to run. Which is better? If you compare two regions, one region has high yields but very low region counts, a low zone count. Let's say a 2 zone region with like a 4 food, 1 ton timber, or 2 timber and 2 materials. And compare that with like a 3 food, 1 material region, but that has like 6 zones. Which is better? I think the answer is in what you want to do. I think early game, choosing the ones which give you the better tile yield or the better yield is always better. But once you're able to build and construct things, once your production is ramped up and you can build things fast, then the 6 zone region will give you more long-term value, I think. I don't know. I don't know how to run that experiment. I think just have to play and measure success in different playthroughs and see how well you do under either scenario. But the cool thing with this game is I don't think there is any wrong answer here. You can choose any path or a decision that you think helps you. And of course, I mean there is no wrong decisions, but there's definitely going to be a varying degree of what the correct call is going to be. And it is pretty much these decision points, the variance that they introduce, is what's going to add a enormous amount of replayability to this game. All right, a blacksmith in Athens now. Okay, so I can build the Colossus of Rhodes, but I can't build it there. Okay, I'll need a new tile somewhere. Potentially Argos or Delphi are the 2 candidates, but wherever they grow out to, Colossus is not a wonder that helps my game, I think. But yeah, so let me think about this. The pyramids of Giza and Stonehenge, they help quality of life stats. My Athens quality of life stats is already like close to 100, and as the city grows, like the amenities is going to like natural amenity growth is going to compensate for that, and I think that'll be good. So I think if I'm building Stonehenge, if I'm building pyramids, I should not be building them in Athens, in the capital. I should be building it in a secondary city. So yeah, Taizu is a candidate, Marathon is a candidate, Delphi is a candidate. Argos needs to grow a little bit, but it'll become a decent candidate too. Should I give you my spearman? No, I'll just take that one. That's fine. Right, I'll have my palace soon enough. Can't buy it outright right now, but that's cool. Okay, now we have it. So our palace was built this turn. Our city cap right now is at 5 of 5. Next turn it will be at 5 of 6, and we will settle immediately. Right? I think it doesn't. Oh, I thought I would be settling in that. Yeah, I lost a turn here. I should have paid more attention to where I want to settle and have my settler be on that tile, but that's fine. Next turn I will settle, and the turn after that my quality of life stats will be high. So right now, like Athens is 75, 53, 63, 50, 65, and the culture is all the way down back to 10. My baseline is moving up from the base 50 that I had when I started the game, which has happened through the amenities that I've plugged in. Amenities and some of the religious follower beliefs and some of the culture, the influence stuff that we have spent. So yeah, so the capital, as the game goes on and we build up a large industry base, yeah, the buff, the 50 plus 50 quality of life stat buff will matter less as the game moves on, because I will have a strong empire with good industry and a good amenity stack. This ability of Alexander is only impactful, or the best or the highest impact it has is pretty much in the early game, and its helpfulness is really only at the higher difficulties. I mean, if you imagine if you play like a Viscount level or a lowest 3 difficulties that you play, and your quality of life stats are going to be so high in your capital so fast and so easily. Yeah, I mean, that 50 quality of life stat buff is not going to feel very impactful. I think the production buff that you get in the other cities that are not your capital is probably more impactful than the quality of life stats here. Okay, I do have the ability to build the pyramids of Giza. Should I just build it in the capital? Yeah, let's do it. It's fine. Now to build Stonehenge, I need timber and I need ropes. Okay. It might be a while before I can get that ball rolling. I think Delphi needs to build some military. Or you can pre-build some settlers. No, I think, yeah, let's get some more military here. This city, New Qinghai, yeah, is gonna have good amount of spices and syrup when it's mature. And spices and mature means bakeries, and actually no, I can use spices to make soap and some other stuff. Yeah, I gotta check out the supply chain. More military, or yeah, maybe. The stone pit won't hurt. It's fine. So we are at navigation. And where do we go from here? If you pick engineering, I would rather have a settler handy, and I think let's see, maybe prioritize one right now. And this city can start building Colossus, so go ahead and do it. Right, I'll have a settler out in 2 turns, so going engineering first is fine. Sweet. Okay. Plus 20 culture in your capital while it is your only city. It's a useless promotion. I don't know. No, it's probably not useless. I guess these folks will want to do a 1 city challenge. I don't know. I can't imagine doing a 1 city challenge knowing what I know about this game right now. I mean, you need a varied industry stack. I don't know. I guess it's possible if you be like super friendly with your neighbors and have like massive trade agreements and research agreements, and if you have the capacity for merchants and stuff, if you're not lacking for the things you need, like amenities and strategic supplies or things, if you don't lack for it, I guess you can make an OCC happen. But I just can't imagine how your prestige is going to stay anywhere close to winnable on 1 city challenge. Maybe on a lower difficulty, I think it's worth trying out. But yeah, it's playing tall. I don't mind playing tall, but I like to go wide first. Like the perfect way for me to play is wide and tall. Like I remember when I used to play Civ 5. Like the choice between tradition and liberty used to be, okay, are you going to stay locked at 4 cities, or are you going to expand your empire to like multiple cities? And the choice really was 4, or if you put a 5th city down, might as well just think of going as wide as you can. Which is why like there was a strats in place where you could go liberty, put down as many cities as you can, and then just focus on growing each of them as tall as they possibly can. And yeah, you would end up with like a sick empire at the end of it. I mean, that MO, that style has pretty much been my play style, I think, or something that I'm most comfortable with. Even in Civ 6, like every once in a while I get cramped for land, and depending on which Civ I am, yeah, some games are fun, some games are not fun when you don't have enough land to expand into. At least that's my opinion. I mean, it's how I end up playing these games. Yeah, I think something on that edge of the tundra is good. Something that puts me in reach of the pigs and the copper, I think, will be fine. Okay. So if I wanted to build the hanging gardens, I'm lacking flowers. Yeah. I thought I had nailed down the supply chain, but there's clearly stuff in here that I need to relearn. There you go. Pyramids of Giza in Athens. And it'll be funny if we see Thebes, if Egypt is in the game and Thebes builds like the Acropolis. I think it'll be easier to build Stonehenge than Hanging Gardens right now. And that's a nice 4 timber region. I think, yeah, let's paint it with logging camps. So city walls are available to build much earlier in this in v2, which actually I don't mind. I guess these things cut both ways, right? But I mean, on higher difficulties, the AI always has that tech and has their walls up. I think this just gives the ability for the human player to have their walls before the AI decides to war into you. But in my experience, I think the walls, all it takes is one turn of siege bombardment and the walls get taken down. If there is a way to increase that to multiple turns, it does give the city a little bit of protection, but it doesn't, it's not a lot of protection. I mean, I don't know, I'm hoping that some of those battle mechanics are different in V2. And because in V1, I remember, I mean, it would typically become a numbers game. If the left hand side had a slightly higher number than the right hand side, it is just math at that point and you're winning the fight. And simply if your count is lower than your enemy, all you had to do was augment it and send like a force or add a force to that, which would help you win that battle. But although that kind of a battle mechanic is easy to manage and easy to predict and play around, I don't think long term that is the way we want to be fighting. I think long term battles should be complex, where unit formations, unit compositions, and even unit placements should matter. Okay, let's deploy a few things here. It doesn't look like I need an army right now, but I just want to be prepared and not get caught on the wrong foot here. If there is war or if there is some sort of aggression from China or any other, we haven't met anyone else though, which kind of is strange. We might just be on an isolated part of the map, which I don't mind. But yeah, a year from now, if I'm playing Alexander and if I get a map like this, I'm definitely re-rolling. I want people, and I want like hopefully by then I'm better at the game to actually do war properly. Alright, let's buy the Colossus of Rhodes in Delphi. Let's lean into festivals now. If I'm able to have or make festivals, I think I should maybe scale out of feasts and move into festivals. A scientist and a strategist gives you books, so I'm going to pick one of them. I think it's fine. Yeah, let's get Simon. Alright, Colossus of Rhodes. Definitely looking a little bit more green than before. Yeah, it's the copper patina, I think. So the amphitheater of Elgem is, yeah, needs horses and wheels, so it might be hard to make happen. I gotta figure out how to manage my queues here, and how things are. So like the loom, I think I had those 3 looms and the 3 looms finished, but the thing is still in the stack. So I have no idea what's. It feels like if what I'm experiencing is a bug, it's a pretty massive bug to be. Even though it's a preview build and we know that things will get tweaked, it feels too big to be there. I'm willing to bet that this is a me problem, not a game problem. I need to understand how that mechanic is supposed to work and how it's supposed to be used. I think I need to do that. That is like game homework for me. I got 2 elephants from a clan event, and yeah, let's build some. I mean, they are pretty much going to be the only cavalry I have in my empire, so it's fine. All right, we are at monumentality. And I want milling, I want philosophy. And war elephants can... Okay, let's deploy something here. War elephant is a melee cavalry, so it slots in perfectly into that block. All right. Yeah, there's a good amount of land beyond Delphi. All right, we got Stonehenge. And let's see. So as far as prestige is concerned, we are 3,600 and the leader is at 4,800, and pretty much everyone else is between those numbers. I think that is not bad. I think we are, even though we are last, we are very competitive. I think this is fine. I think considering we are close to ending Act 1, but the Act 1 hasn't ended yet. That is not bad at all. And hopefully another few wonders, more industrial development. Maybe we can develop some other things, maybe get a bigger military going. And I think our prestige will be very competitive. I don't know if it will be out of last place, but... And yeah, I think I'm going to take a break here. I think there are so many different ways this game can go from this point. And I just need to get my bearings right here. But I think the game is in a good spot. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we can take this in multiple different ways. The new tech tree is throwing me off completely. I don't know how to feel about this. I had gotten so used to the old tech tree. But I mean, I'm sure I think it's a balance change and it'll improve. Yeah, I just need to read up on things and, well, maybe let's see if the Encarta, the in-game help has more information than what we are guessing here. Playing this game on like a higher difficulty than usual, especially when things have changed and there is a whole relearning curve in front of you. Yeah, it's not easy. So quick edit here. The v2 release date is out and the release date is set for September 24th. As I'm editing this video right now, it's about 2 weeks away from now. Just want to set expectations that the next part for this video, I do have a lot of edits to kind of get through. But if I'm able to do those edits and if I'm able to clean up the video, finish the video and the edits before 24th comes around, or even if it's like a day before, I'll put that video out. Else, I think we'll wait for the release to conclude and start a new series when we have had a chance to look at the formal notes. Thank you for watching and definitely tune into the next one. If you have made it this far and have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share with your friends, or consider subscribing. And if you're already subscribed, my heartfelt thanks to you. Thank you.